Hi, welcome to Whirly Girl Inc., a show about general crafting and some other stuff. I think I'm on episode 5. I'm like a week and a half late from recording because it went a little bit crazy. And you're going to hear some other sounds going on because it's like 5:30 on the Friday before Memorial Day instead of when I normally record is like 6:30 on Wednesdays. 6:30 in the morning on Wednesdays. But yeah, other stuff has happened. Not anything bad, just life and things. Oh, and I'm also not wearing a black shirt this time, so you can easily see me different from my brown couch behind me. The general format of the show is finished objects, what I'm working on, what I'm going to work on in the future, and there is a tiny human with rainbow hair, and I was going to talk about her later anyway, so might as well put her in this now. So come here, Amelia.
Okay.
Come around on this side. So my daughter Amelia, we on our quarantining, we have been doing different things, and so sit up straight. You gotta sit up, babe. So I decided to do both of their hair. So if you turn to the side, turn this way. See, it's blue, and then goes down to purple.
And then it turns down to green.
And goes down to green after we washed it the first time, but the front of it stays blonde. And so when she has it up in a ponytail, like it has, which is my favorite part of it, it has blonde, and then it's blue, and then it's purple. So her hair turned out really cool, and then in a little bit I'll show you Aaron's hair, because his is half red and half blue. Anyway, so Amelia, say hi.
Hi.
Hi to like my 8 viewers, but pretty much of the 8 viewers, like 6 of them know who you are very, very well, including Grandpa Rex and Aunt Rhonda and stuff. So, no, it's fine. You can take it. So anyway, that is one of the things that we've been doing is dyeing hair.
And make
all
sure
right.
to check out Amelia's art.
Yes, Amelia's video for Amelia's art. Okay. So, say bye now. Bye.
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 Peace out.
Next is Aaron's hair.
Hello.
You gotta get all the way down there. Alright, so this is Aaron, and with Lion. Okay. So his hair, you gotta turn down this way. His hair is half blue and half red.
This
and so the middle of it is kind of purple.
This side is red.
Yes, so he likes it for, you gotta look up
4th of July.
For 4th of July, because he loves 4th of July. So, anyway, so that is Aaron's hair. Okay, so now say bye.
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 Soon I'll be making a new video.
Yes. Okay, so that's them, and anyway, my disc was full, so I had to figure out what was up with my disc when it said that it looked like it has nothing on it, and then it says it's full. So I don't know, but you got to see the kids' hair because, like I said, it's about 5:30 on the Friday before Memorial Day instead of 6:30 in the morning when they're usually asleep. So the light's wonky, the timing's wonky. There will probably be children that need things while I'm doing this because they just, it's what they do, and and dogs snuffling and things like that. So we'll see how far we get on this. But okay, so now also one of the viewers, namely Rhonda, is on the iPad with Aaron while I am recording this. So hi. You are in the background, rather they hear you or not. And the other 7 viewers hear you or not. But this is a lot for me to get into it. So anybody that has kids might understand the disjointed nature of of this right now because this whole coronavirus stuff has just made everything crazy. But I have basically two finished objects here. The first one is easy for me to show. I was talking about the Maritimo sweater by yeah, the Maritimo sweater by Boylan Knitworks. There you go. I started this really about a year ago, and so for me to finish it right now, I mean, it's yeah, like it's not like I just magically finished a sweater. Like I did start it quite a while ago, and I just got back into the groove of finishing it. But I went to work for the first time, like physically to work, to my office and it's on my desk for the first time in over 2 months. And I got to wear this sweater to it because since living in Alabama, it's hot, so I wanted a short sleeve sweater because I can only wear my sweaters like a third of the year. Anyway, so Maritimo sweater with the sleeves inside out. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, short sleeve with feather and fan along the bottom, and it has a wide boat neck on it, so I wear a shirt underneath it. But we have the variegated yarn. Is Once Upon a Corgi, and it's fingering weight, and it's a merino blend, I want to say, and the dogs have started. But yeah, so it's a fingering weight sweater, really easy. Love the pattern. You work it from the bottom up, and then you split for the sleeves, or yeah, you split for the sleeves. So then you knit the front and the back, which I showed you before, and then you sew it together with the kind of like with a 3 needle bind off, because you keep all the stitches live, and then you do like a 3 needle bind off. Too. That shows you a lot, I know. To do the shoulder seams, and then you pick up for the sleeves and you knit very little, and then you do the feather and fan lacy bits, not lacy like my dog bits, but yeah. So the other yarn, I forgot what it is right now because that's my theme. But yeah, so that's my first finished object. I really like it. It's very soft. And yeah, and so I can wear it, and so most of my sweaters are Alabama winter sweaters, and then this will be one that works well for spring and fall. So yeah, so that one's that. The other finished object I have isn't yarny related. It's actually woodworking related. So on the first episode, I talked about so the first episode, I talked about that my mom taught me how to knit when I was little and stuff. But I come from kind of a big family of people that make stuff. So she did the sewing and like really artsy things. So, knitting and crocheting and sewing, and not as much with cooking. I mean, she says she did, but we didn't really have a lot of money. So, like, cooking was very much like whatever was in the fridge, repurposing leftovers or pretty cheap meals, things like that. So it wasn't like, so I learned a lot of cooking to, like, make new stuff out of leftovers and things. So, like, I'm decent with that, but yeah, it wasn't really cooking in that, and I don't like cooking. But so she did that kind of stuff, and then my dad, he was the woodworker, and he created bigger things like, he designed cabinets and things like that, and he always made like and still does designs like kind of different wood stuff. So like he made these reindeer that it was like, one of my favorite Christmas decorations that we have, were these like wooden reindeers where their body is this basket thing. And anyway, a couple years ago he gave me one, and he covered it in glitter, but either didn't coat it or something, and he watches this and he knows that like it put glitter everywhere. So then, because I get the test articles, or the test things, and so like I'll get the first draft of something, and so then he'll improve it as he goes. So now he knows that when he covers them in glitter to put more coating over them, because yeah, we had glitter everywhere, but I don't mind because I have glitter all over my house anyway because of the purple haired girl you saw earlier. Yeah, so he did designed a bunch of stuff. So anyway, so I come by it honestly of that it's like I want to do this thing, and it's a thing that a lot of other people I found are like, why would you do that? That seems like a really big undertaking. And to me, I'm like, meh, we could do this. We could totally do this. So last weekend, okay, I'm in a black hole of time. I don't know. I think it was last weekend that my husband and kids went to South Carolina to visit grandparents. And so I had like 4 days that I was left by myself. And it's very dangerous to leave me by myself because in Washington, when I was left by myself, I tiled our backsplash because I was bored. Like, I tried to not do anything because it was over Mother's Day. So if Mother's Day wasn't last weekend, then oops. But it was the Mother's Day weekend, which also was our anniversary weekend. But that weekend, that was kind of my Mother's Day gift, was that Josh took the kids so that I could have some time alone because this quarantine stuff has been, um, whatever. And I never get time alone anyway. Like, I rarely get time alone. But so he took them to go see grandparents. I was left alone. The first day of being alone, I was like, okay, I can do this. And then I tried to, read a book and watch a movie and things like that. And then day 2, I was like, okay, this isn't working. I don't like being completely alone for this long. Like, a couple hours is one thing. But like 4 days, that's a long time for me to be by myself because I don't sit still. Like, I'm the person that in the movies, like, I hate going to the movies because I want to get up and I want to do things and I want to, like, I have to move. So, like, watching movies at home, I sit there and I knit and I do things, right, while I'm paying attention to it. But, so, Amelia has been asking for a loft bed. And so I was like, okay, well, fine, I'll make her a loft bed. So I had this idea in my head of what I was going to do is I was going to take her current, because she has a metal bed frame. I was going to take that and then I was just going to like raise it up and whatever. So I went to Lowe's and I got the wood and I did all the, like I made I drew out the plan and I went to Lowe's, got the wood, brought it back home, had everything set up and I had everything like marked and ready to go. And I had just put on my noise canceling headset because I'm all about safety. I had noise canceling headset. I had my safety glasses on. I looked awesome. And I was just picked up the saw when my phone rang through the headset. And then I realized that I left the phone upstairs in Amelia's bedroom, so I had to run upstairs and go get it. And then it happened to be my dad. So like the timing was perfect because I was no crap ready to push play on the saw to start doing all this stuff. So we spent the next like hour of him helping me to redesign this thing. And so then I was like, okay, cool, I got this. And I happened to buy enough stuff to do it the way that we redid it, which was way easier than the way that I initially said. Way easier. And so I started working on that. I got the frame, or I got it all made that night. It was like, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I started, because I also had to hang up a Nest camera outside and eat, because I kept forgetting to eat. But at least when I'm by myself, eating is a lot easier because it's just peanut butter Captain Crunch and I'm good. So, but I still needed to stop to do that because I realized how wilty I was being, and I was like, oh, I'm tired. Why am I so tired? Oh, because I'm hungry, because I haven't had short people asking me for food and reminding me about food every hour. Um, so I had forgotten about that whole eating thing. So then I had my peanut butter Captain Crunch, and then I was on my way, and I started building it, and I got it done. I got the bare wood frame, or the bare wood done, and then the first night, and then the next day I painted it. I made the stairs, and I put up the side panel. It will make more sense when you see the video that I'm gonna insert right about here. Right. Apparently I can't show her room in a under the amount of time, but for it to send. But there's her stairs, and then underneath it, I painted it to look kind of like clouds with some hot air balloon lights. And so there's the top bed. Well, I need to put that way. And then she has her curtains, and then her safety so she doesn't fall out of this side of the bed, and it's got some flowers and some butterflies, and she's got her little name tape there and some little things to cover the line between the two, even though then I put a big cord there. But yay, it's all done. I'm so excited. Hopefully she'll like it. Okay, so that was Amelia's bed. She was very excited. I have her excitement on tape so that, or tape. See, I'm old. Anyway, I have a video of when she first saw it, because I had to go pick the kids up from Atlanta. So I went down there, picked them up, and then drove back up here. Well, during that time, I found out that this was supposed to be all a surprise for Amelia. But I found out that she saw part of it. And so, because I sent Josh a picture, and she was sitting on his lap and happened to see his phone at the same time and was like, "What's that? I think it's from my room." And then, so she knew that something was happening with her bed, because we've been talking about this bed and like looking at different ones to buy and stuff. So the whole way back, I was like, "I'm not talking about your room anymore." And she kept telling me how she wasn't going to like it because it's not pink. Because I told her it's not pink. I told her it was gray. And she kept telling me how she wasn't going to like it because it wasn't pink. And I'm like, "Why don't you just wait until you see it? I'm not talking about this anymore." So now I was talking about Aaron's room. And I knew he wanted a different bed. So I got to design his. He wants it to look like a tree house. And he wants a tent, like a fully enclosed, the top of it, he wants it fully enclosed like a tent. And they're barking. Okay. And so I have to design his, to make him one, because also his room is a little bit, it's a little bit smaller, but it's also like the placement of his window and things like that make his not as easy, because like Amelia has like 2 walls with nothing on them, like no windows or doors or anything. Or I guess the one has a door, but it's like at the one side of the wall, and the whole rest of the wall is open. Whereas like Aaron's has like one wall that doesn't have anything, one wall that has a big inset window in it. This wall over here has the closet, and then the other wall has the door. So it's weird for how big the thing is. But I'm gonna work on that. So those are my 2 finished objects, is the sweater and then Amelia's bed. And then, yeah, so that's all the finished objects I have, which is plenty for the last couple of weeks because it's been a busy couple of weeks. And then things I'm working on. So I finally got the batting for my quilt that I had shown, part of the top of it, or the 98% completed top of it. I got the batting for it, but my machine, when I was making masks, started acting really weird, and so I need to figure out what's up with my machines before I try to take on a big sewing project, but I really want to work on that. And then otherwise, I have, so of works in progress, I still have the dragon that I just have his little legs that I showed, with leggies. And then I have the blanket that's not getting finished anytime soon, so it doesn't really matter if I work on it. And then another thing that I can't show on here because it's for a gift of for one of my 8 viewers. And then I have a sweater that it's called Japanese sleeves, and it has a lace inset down each sleeve, and then it's a striped sweater, but it's a pretty involved sweater, and I think it's by Hohi Locatelli. I think it's one of her designs. If I'm wrong, I'll put it there. Yeah, so it's kind of an involved sweater, and I only have one lace inset done because you have to do the lace insets first, and then you pick up along the edge of it as you go back and forth on the thing, so on the body of the sweater. So it's really involved, and it's not TV knitting. And so I need to find a project that is TV knitting, because surprisingly I don't have any right now because I've been cleaning up all these works in progress that I don't have a TV knitting. The blanket is crochet and it's TV crochet, but maybe I'll work on something like that. I need to start planning out if I'm going to make any Christmas presents for people. I'm like, oh, I can make this thing for them for Christmas and they would actually like it. And so I need to start planning out the stuff like that. What are you growling at? What are you growling at? It's a bag. They're seriously like, okay, you want to see what he's angry about? Okay, this is see this bag hanging right there? This bag right there, right? That's what he's upset about. Okay, oh, I guess since I can do this. Sparky. Oh, let's see if I can get to him. Sparkles. Sparky. Hi. There, that's Sparkles. Hi, babies. Since you guys got to see Lacey in a different one. And you get to see more of my craft room. Oh, there you go. Anyway, so yeah, that was a long thing, a long explanation. Maybe I'll edit it out. I don't know yet. Maybe I'll just keep it because whatever. Yeah, so I need to start planning out Christmas gifts. Because the only thing I'm organized with are Christmas gifts. Or Christmas in general. Yeah. So today is the last day of the kids' school. So they end school here really early, even under normal circumstances. Washington didn't end school for another month, but here, yeah, today was the last day of school for them. So I officially have a first grader and a third grader. Yeah, so I mean, I'd say they're excited, but like, there's no difference between now and then. Like, yeah. Other than now, I'm not getting emails about all the things I'm supposed to be doing with them for school. So yeah, but school just ended, so now we're on summer break, but we're still in this whole don't go anywhere things. So yeah, I'm still working from home primarily. Some of our tests are picking back up, and I've been going, or I went into work Wednesday of this week, and then I have another thing next Wednesday, and then in 2 weeks I have another one. So I get to come into work a little bit more just to break up the monotony a little bit. And yeah, but I'm glad that things are opening back up again. Not because I necessarily need to go anywhere, because I'm kind of a hermit anyway. Like, I'm a homebody. But because I know that this thing is really financially difficult for people who have been out of work for the last 2 months and things like that. So I'm glad everything's reopening. Yeah. So the whole part of future projects, I don't really have. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going to do for future projects, but I did just sort of say if I needed to record this, if I was going to try to stay on top of doing this, which I want to, that I needed to record again. So I did, even if the content isn't as exciting as it could be. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. I had made a list for show notes, which also show notes and everything will be down below. I'll link to anything I talk about. But I did finish reading this book that was so Alex Blackman. Um, Let me see. The first book I read by him was called My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. Um, yeah, my grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry, and other grandmother sends her regards and apologies. Frederick Backman, and I thought I had. Oh, it's way up there. I can't get it. Anyway, Frederick Backman. So the book that I just finished reading from his is called A Man Called Ove, and let me see. So, a man called, oh, that's going to be really shiny. Man called Ove. Um, so I just finished reading it, and what I really like about this author is the way that how he describes his characters and really makes you care about his characters because they're real. Like, he has such a great concept of the human condition that it's for me personally, because I guess I like reading books that are more realistic stories. Um, so even and it's not necessarily that I read a lot of biographies or autobiographies. I read some, but it's mostly stories that are like classic fiction type of stuff. Um, like Moby Dick is a movie or is a book that it could actually happen. Um, Instead of reading like Harry Potter, I've read all the Harry Potters and I like all the Harry Potters and it's great, but it's not I mean, those are fantasy, and I like stories that, like, if you when you're reading them and you're describing it to somebody, it sounds like the most boring story, but I like reading about the human condition and people, and I like stories about people. Which is why I generally read a lot of like World War II books, Vietnam books, things like that. But this guy, Frederick Backman, he just has a way of um, talking about the people and giving his characters personality that is very subtle but really, really works well. So, like in my grandmother told me to tell you she's sorry, or whatever. That the grandma that's in there. I mean, it's not a spoiler. She dies in like chapter 2, but and the granddaughter has to go tell these people that her grandma says sorry because she was kind of a pain in the butt. But it's funny because reading about this grandma, she's the type of grandma that I aspire to be. Where she's just so involved with her granddaughter, but um, like the very first part of that book, the grandmother book, the girl is playing with her Harry Potter scarf, and she has her finger in the hole of the Harry Potter scarf, like that's in her favorite scarf, and it's got this hole in it. And then talking about her grandma needing to get picked up from jail. And so it just like mentions these things, like just throws them out there. And so then you read it and you find out that the grandma is in jail because she took her granddaughter to break into the zoo to see the monkeys. As they were hopping the fence, I know this doesn't bode well for me, the type of grandmother I aspire to be, but it's getting there of what I mean by it. So, broke into the zoo, and her scarf got caught on the fence, and that's how it got a hole in it. And so when the grandma needed to get picked up from jail, that the granddaughter said, "Well, why did you do this?" And well, or not really, why did you do this, but like it just kind of like talking to her grandma about, that's good and stuff. But come to find out, the little girl got bullied in school that day, and like one of the girls that was bullying her, like either hit her or something. I forgot what exactly happened, but like she got bullied at school, and so the grandma wanted to do something really big and exciting so that and she tells her granddaughter that because when you think back to this day, I want you to remember it as the day that we broke in to the zoo and saw the monkeys, not the day that you got bullied. And so that's kind of more what I'm talking about of like that I love that because it was, you know, this person that cares so much about this um, her granddaughter having a good life in that way instead of just, oh, here, let me buy you things and let me, you know, kind of win your love in whatever materialistic manner I can think of, which I'm totally guilty of. Totally guilty of. It was just like, I like the way that the author does that with his characters, is that you really get a sense of the grandma's a pain in the butt, but she is the entire world to her granddaughter because of things like that, where she does these really eccentric things, but for a reason. And so, in the book I just finished of his, and I've read like, I think this might be like the fourth book by him that I've read, um, is that a man called Ove. It's about this, it's in Sweden, and it's about this older guy that um, you find out his wife died, and it's really dark sounding, but the whole book, or like in the first, well, pretty much the whole book, he's trying to kill himself so that he can be with his wife. But all of his neighbors keep stopping him, but they don't know they're stopping him from it. It's like he is a very set in his ways. I do this schedule like every morning. I get up at 5:30 and I have my 1 cup of coffee. Then I wash my cup and I put it in the sink, and then I go out and I do this thing from 5:47 to 5:52, and then I do this. And so he's very rigid in his life and his schedules. And so but his wife, he says, brought the color in his life, is that she was everything he wasn't. She was boisterous and outgoing and had friends and loved, like the people and things like that, and he wasn't. And I don't know why the camera said that the recording has been stopped automatically, but it did. But yeah, so Ove, I was talking about the guy in the book, Ove, that he was very, but he would do these things unintentionally nice for people. Like he had scars all over his body because he went into a burning house to save a little boy, and but he's one of those people that like where it's like, oh great, I won the lottery, now I'm gonna have to pay taxes on it. Like, instead of being happy about the moment and the things that it is, it's like, okay, well, you can always find the doom and gloom and stuff. So he kind of does that, but he ends up helping these people in this super nice way because that's what a person would do. Like that's throughout the book. That's the a normal person would park their bike in the proper spot instead of you know leaning it against the shed or whatever. But like everything, when people talk to me, it's very gruff and like slams the door in his face, doesn't want to talk to the neighbors, things like that. But then a pregnant neighbor, like he gets this new neighbor that she's pregnant and he's kind of an idiot, and then they have 2 little kids, and the little kids become very close to him. And anyway, I don't know if anybody is going to read this, so like I guess it doesn't really matter if I say what happens. But so the pregnant woman, she's foreign, and she is like, no, you're going to come help me because you are. And she catches on that he's trying to kill himself because he tries to die of carbon monoxide poisoning in his garage with his car. and she interrupts it and is like sees the tubing and the things like that and is like, but never actually says anything. So then she makes it kind of a point that like she goes over to his house and tells him, hey, we need your help with this because my husband's an idiot and he can't open a window, things like that. And she basically forces him to be social. And then there's this cat that he finds, and it's because the neighbor that he can't stand, she hates the cat and has like a little purse dog that bites the cat. And anyway, so he befriends the cat because he doesn't like the other neighbor, things like that. And by the end, the two kids that live next door end up, that one day they call him grandpa, and he's like, huh, well, maybe they're not so bad, and just kind of takes the kids under his wing and things like that, and then ends up dying peacefully, natural causes, later on, instead of trying to kill himself, or instead of killing himself like he had planned all along, because all these things happen. So, like I said, like explaining the story, you're like, why would somebody read this? It's a story about an old grumpy dude, and it's like I work with 50 of them. But it's a story about an old grumpy dude. But like the way that he captures the spirit of everybody, like the little pregnant foreign lady, like she's this short, feisty, smart lady, and like you get that. And the way he talks about the kids, and like when the kids talk, is that it's very much that it's the mind of a kid, not a lot of books where it's an adult talking for a kid, but like it sounds like it's coming from a kid, where kids aren't dumb, but they have their own way of thinking about things. Like somebody called like I read this thing of like a kid calling eyebrows an eye mustache, and the parent was like, "That's awesome," but like because kids aren't indoctrinated into culture the same way that we are. We do it to them later on, whatever. But like they have their own names for things and their own way of thinking about it, and that's the way that he writes about kids. Is that he gives them their own perspective, instead of just making them either sound dumb, or making them sound like adults that most of our adult brains can comprehend. That, oh, well, he said it's a kid, so I'll just assume it's a kid, but it doesn't sound like a kid. So anyway, it's a good book. Like, yeah, it's depressing, that dude's trying to kill himself, but you kind of figure he's not going to do it because the whole book's about him. So, like, you figure something's going to happen to prevent it, so it's not that bad. Anyway, he's an amazing author, Frederick Backman, and this was a really good book. I have one other book right now, that of his that is in my queue to read, and then otherwise I'm trying to read a book that I've been trying to read for probably 15 plus years. Trying to finish reading The Once and Future King, by E.B. White. I think by E.B. White. I could be wrong on that. I think it's by E.B. White. But it's the book that A Sword in a Stone was based off of. And A Sword in a Stone is my favorite Disney cartoon. So anyway, that was a lot about a book. So I think I will sign off for now. So I hope everybody is staying healthy and safe, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you for watching.